So here we go yet again. Facebook has just announced that officially in the coming months, they're going to be removing completely the special ad category and special ad audience. Let me preface this video by saying that if you skip this video and you ever plan to run Facebook ads or are currently running Facebook ads, you're going to be in a bit of a pickle. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to clearly explain to you the upcoming changes that Facebook has announced related to the special ad category and the special ad audiences. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the 5 things that you need to be doing from the time of this video going forward in order to make sure that you secure yourself in your marketing and advertising efforts to continue to generate leads without having to deal with the craziness that continues to happen with Facebook ads. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty. I train thousands of agents every year to skyrocket the business the modern way, leveraging social media, and I'm doing something new that's going to help a ton of people on this video, which is every single week, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you like and comment on any of the videos released that week, I'm going to enter you into a draw to win a free copy of my full Social Agent Academy, breaking down how to properly generate leads and attract clients at scale and skyrocket your personal brand on every single platform, not just Facebook, but Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and everything else. So drop a comment, show me a bit of love. Now let's dive into this crazy news. Okay, so giving some context first. I'm gonna read a couple things from an article here to give you some context, and then I'm gonna explain a couple things to do in order to make sure it doesn't affect you as much as it's going to affect every other agent that doesn't watch this video, because they're in for a bit of a rude awakening, and I wanna make sure that that is not you. I wanna make sure that you continue to generate leads and absolutely crush it the modern way by leveraging social media. So I've got an article up here, and I'm going to give some context for anybody that might not know about the special ad category or the special ads audience. So let me quickly run through this with you, and then I'm going to explain some of the key milestones. This is really important because you need to know these specific dates that I'm about to run through, because these dates are the effective dates that certain key things are changing. So don't go anywhere. Don't be skipping anything. So just to give some context to people that don't know about special ad category and the housing category, the specific article says, so if you run ads for housing, credit, employment, social issues, elections, politics, you need to declare that. Once you do, your options will change to prevent you from violating certain rules. If you fail to declare special ad category for housing, which is what we have to do since we're realtors, then what's basically going to happen is expect ads to get rejected and potentially your ad account shut down, which I've seen many people unfortunately have to go through. So once you declare a special ad category, and I'll show on the screen over here what this looks like when you go to run an ad and where you'd be selecting it, your targeting for housing, credit, employment will be significantly restricted, which is why back when I was first running Facebook ads in 2017, 2018, it was a joke to get really hot leads. You could filter out realtors, you could target people interested in buying or selling today. And I was literally back in 2018, 2017, getting leads for 17 cents a lead that were turning into clients, signed contract clients. It was crazy, but that is a thing of the past. So this is to prevent ads from discriminating based on age, gender, and sometimes even location, which is why you cannot adjust the age anymore. Previously, you could adjust the age to your target avatar, which made sense. You can't select gender, whatever. And now location, used to be able to target 1 mile radius. Now you have to go 15-mile radius. So instead of creating lookalike audiences for housing, credit, and employment, you can create special ad audiences. So what a lookalike audience is you could upload your database and then say, hey, Facebook, here is basically all the people that have bought and sold with me in the past. And then what Facebook would do is go find more people that, based on their online search patterns, are basically going to be like them. So if they've bought and sold with you before and Facebook goes and finds more people that are like that, pretty safe to say they're going to be the hottest leads you can find. Well, previously you had lookalike audiences. The special ad audience, which again, I'll overlay over here in terms of like what that looks like. This is essentially a lookalike audience for the special ad category. So you could still do that until now. So now let's go through some of these key dates that you need to be mindful of for the deprecation timeline. So let's look at this. The timeline, this is based on Meta or Facebook, whatever they want to call themselves, based on the deprecation of special ad audiences. So August 25th, which has passed, you will no longer be able to create new special ad audiences. September 13th, Special ad audiences will no longer be available for use in new ad creation via the API. The big one, October 12th. Special ad audiences will no longer be available for use in the new ad creation across the entire ads manager. After this date, affected ad sets may be paused for delivery. So if you've got an ad currently running and it's crushing it, but it's using the special ad category, well, after October 12th, that might be paused for delivery. More or less, it will be paused for delivery. To resume delivery on the paused ad sets, you will need to update them to remove special ad audiences. So this is really interesting, and I'll explain why this is all happening in a second here, but a lot of people are going to get fearful of this, and I'm going to explain one of the reasons why you should be fearful of this, but it's not the end of the world. Now, let me explain why this is all happening. So Facebook had to deal with a settlement with HUD, which is the Department of Housing and Urban Development, for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to explain quickly here the issue so that you actually have some background information, and then we'll dive straight into what you need to do going forward to make sure that you're set up for massive success. So you can see here in an article from Meta, which says, we're making this change in part to address feedback we've heard from civil rights groups, policymakers, and regulators about how our ad system delivers certain categories and personalized ads. So while HUD raised concerns about the personalizing housing ads specifically, we also plan to use this on other things. Discrimination in housing, employment, and credit is a deep-rooted problem with a long history in the US, and we're committed to broadening opportunities for marginalized communities in these spaces. So the final thing I'll say before we get into the tips is, additionally, we will be sunsetting special ad audiences, a tool that lets advertisers expand their audiences for ad campaigns related to housing. So basically, they're screwing us. And so we're choosing to sunset this for employment and credit ads as well. But in the field of fairness, in machine learning is a dynamic and evolving one, and the special ad audience was an early way to address concerns. Now our focus will improve to a new approach to improve fairness, include the method we announced today. So yeah, basically what's happening here is they're continuing to deal with privacy issues. And one of the things you need to understand is, if you're a realtor that is just getting to use Facebook ads, then yes, you're going to go down the rabbit hole of using the special ad audience, and then you're going to use the targeting, like I say in many of my videos, and you're just gonna go do your ads, which is fine because that's the traditional way of approaching it. Now, the one thing you have to understand is that as you start to scale, as you start to build momentum with your ads, you'll start to realize that once you increase your budget, it starts to get to the point where, in fairness to Meta and Facebook, their algorithm is actually pretty powerful. So when I look at my own ads, I spend about $1 million a year of my own personal money on Facebook ads and Instagram ads. The ads that usually crush the most at a larger budget end up being broad targeting, which is no special ad category, just blanket targeting and letting the algorithm after a few days figure out who's engaging with it the most, and then it's going to serve it to more people like that. So it's not the end of the world, but there is a shift happening, because you'll see year over year over year, it is getting more and more and more difficult in order to properly use Facebook ads to attract leads at a good cost, right? It's just like Google pay-per-click. Back in the early 2000s, it was pennies. Well, now it's dollars, sometimes even $10+ per lead. The same thing's happening with Facebook. Back when I got started in 2017, 2018, it was like 10 to 30 cents per lead. Now it's like $3 to $10 per lead, and it's only going to get more difficult as it becomes more saturated and more difficult to target. So let's start talking about what you need to do going forward. Probably some of these answers are going to be the answers that many don't want to hear, but ultimately my channel is not for lazy people. My channel is for people that want to win, that want to dominate, and that ultimately want to build a successful real estate business. So hopefully that's you, and you want to hear these in order to position yourself in the best way possible. Number one, focus more on Google, YouTube, and TikTok ads. This is really important because Google and YouTube still allow you to target in-market audiences, which are audiences that are literally in the market to buy, sell, invest, or rent today. And video is still largely untapped, so YouTube ads can crush it. You can still target postal codes or zip codes. You can still go down to a 1 mile radius. You can choose to target people that have actually recently visited criteria, certain websites like Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com, Realtor.ca, things like that. The targeting is incredible. And when you start to leverage video with that targeting, like YouTube ads versus just the static Google ads, then you can do really well getting in front of people. So developing that skill set is incredibly important. Now, TikTok ads are crushing it for a lot of people right now. I've got a couple videos coming out about that, where because it's again a new platform in terms of introducing advertising, they don't have all these crazy privacy rules. So it is almost like Facebook back in 2017. 2015, where they were kind of just testing everything, getting people incredible results to get a ton of people to use it. And then over time, they will likely make it living hell like Facebook has and made it more difficult for us. But starting to leverage these other platforms is going to be a really great way to just shift your budget to platforms that still allow you incredible targeting and can get you leads for a very great cost. Number 2, double down on organic content. This is really important because when you start looking at advertising and then organic content, you start to look at impressions and data. And I'm a very analytical person being an engineer, so I like to look at the numbers and let the data do the talking. So one of the things you'll start to notice is that look at the impressions you're getting when you're, for example, running $10 a day on Facebook ads. Look at the impressions you're getting on a weekly basis. And then if you're consistently posting daily on something like Instagram Reels, which is free, and then YouTube, which is free, and TikTok, which is free, start to look at the impressions you're getting on a weekly basis across those. And what you'll realize in many cases is that for free, and yes, you might need to spend a bit of money in terms of creation of content or videographer or whatever, but if you're doing it yourself, you can, like most of the agents in my group. Regardless, what you'll see is that the organic reach across those 3 platforms, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, YouTube Long Form, and TikTok, will actually equal or surpass the impressions you're getting for paid Facebook ads, right? So one of the things you want to do is really start to focus on doubling down on the organic content, because the organic reach on Reels, Shorts, and TikTok right now is insanity. And you can put out a video as a new account that's barely posted, and if you start to be consistent with that, we've got agents that are now getting a listing appointment a week after just a few months of posting consistently on these platforms, whereas they were spending a ton of money on ads and getting like a listing appointment a month. So doubling down on this is incredibly important going forward. Number 3, get better on video in preparation for the broad targeting. So what you'll see is that yes, in the future, the near future, we're going to start having to use broad targeting. But what you'll see is that if you're good at delivering a clear, concise, compelling, and credible message on camera, and you're able to use language that converts, which is very easy to do if you practice, which most people don't, but if you start to practice getting in front of camera and getting good on video, then you send your video out broad targeting, and then Facebook's gonna say, hey, all these people are really engaging with that video, and then you can start to retarget them and drive them down from top, middle, bottom of funnel, and then you'll start to get the same results you did when you could use the special ad category. So what you need to do is start to develop these other skill sets that are very essential. They're not wants, they're needs. They're not nice to haves, they're must haves going forward in order to, again, make sure you don't get affected by these policy changes, because communication is the number 1 skill you need in real estate. And the best way to develop it is video, because you have to deliver a powerful message in a short amount of time and to hook people and to retain people and things like that. So if you're not yet on video, this is your chance, because if you don't get on it in the next few months, you will be falling behind. Number 4, dial in your personal brand and your unique value proposition. This is essential because number 1, most people don't understand their unique value proposition. The question you need to ask yourself is, if you're in a listing presentation and I'm the seller and your name is John, and I say, hey John, why should I work with you over the number 1 agent in our market that you see on all the billboards, that has all the budget, maybe nice cars, maybe they're recognized for something? Why should I work with you over them? And the answer cannot be because I love helping people, because I want to help, because I'm going to go work so hard and I'm going to go above and beyond. That's not a value proposition. That's what 100% of licensed agents say. So what you need to do is understand what makes you unique. What are you actually going to do differently that not every agent is going to say? And that's going to allow you to position yourself with strategic posts and strategic videos and strategic broad ads in a way that's going to stand out and allow people to connect with you. Now, personal branding is incredibly important. We all know the brokerage brand doesn't mean anything, but this is an important time now to develop your personal brand, not just because of the special ad category and the special ad audience, but simultaneously because the market is shifting. So we're having a double whammy here, where when the market shifts, a lot of realtors start to back off, leaving a ripe opportunity to gain market share. And if you can now start to become and remain top of mind, You look at 0809, not saying that's going to happen, but you look at any sort of shift correction. Last time, 60% of agents didn't renew their license. Where did the clients in the 60% go? They went to the 40% that weathered the storm and built the brand to become and remain top of mind. Number 5, the most important one, just don't panic. This is not the end of the world. I've been using broad targeting for the last year, spending a ton of money on it, and this is just an evolution of what's happening. Now, there's going to be a lot of people using fear tactics saying this is the end of the world, everything's going up in flames and you're screwed. While that is the case for people that don't watch a video like this and don't learn how to adapt to what's happening, what you'll see is this is actually a blessing to many people where they were relying on very easy, very average, very subpar Facebook ads to generate leads. They didn't develop any skill sets in order to optimize their ads. They didn't know how to create videos in order to engage with their audience. And they shouldn't have been running them anyway because they were not willing to learn. This is a ripe opportunity that's almost a forced nudge to say, hey, now you really have to get on video. Now you really have to develop these skill sets. And now you really have to learn these other platforms, which is a blessing in disguise because you had to anyway. But people always use Facebook ads as kind of like a fallback because it was just easy to run. Well, now you have to develop these new skill sets and explore new platforms in order to make sure that your business doesn't get decimated by changes like this. And this is why I always tell people that you need to be willing to adapt. The ones that win in real estate are not the ones with the biggest budget or the most experience, it's the ones the most willing to adapt. This is incredibly important, and now you're seeing it more than ever because it's only going to get more difficult. And if you're not willing to adapt, you're going to get left behind. So I'm honestly excited for this. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is we don't really know what the repercussions of this are going to be. Nobody does. I work with people that spend hundreds of millions of dollars per year on Facebook ads, and they're all just waiting to see what's going to happen when this actually hits in mid-October. So nobody knows the exact answers because it hasn't happened yet. So don't be asking for specific answers of what to do if certain things happen. Nobody knows, but these are the things you need to do in preparation. So get ready, start developing new skill sets, explore these other platforms, drop a comment if you have any other questions. But again, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.